You, yes you. Do you remember the good old times when we had the good shows out on our television? You know, I'm talking like Max Steel, Samurai Jack, Sonic X, and Death Note. And of course, you know, there are many other shows I could be speaking of today, but these are the 4 shows I kind of want to go over. You know, other examples of some other really good shows would be like Teen Titans, Justice League, Shaolin Showdown, Tenkai Night, and a lot more. And if you guys want me to talk about it, let's get this video to 70 likes. If that happens, guarantee I will talk about more shows. Without further ado, let's start with our first show. Sonic, the blue blur, the hedgehog that can break the sound barrier without even trying. This was the anime character that I saw, and that was my introduction to Sonic. I didn't grow up playing the Sonic games. I didn't grow up with a Sega versus Nintendo war. I grew up to Sonic X being on my TV, and then that kind of influenced me to get the Sonic games. I think at the time when I first started, I think it was Sonic Colors, and I couldn't afford a Wii. So I went with the next best thing I got on the DS, had a blast of a time, and Sonic X taught me some of the stories that long fans knew, mainly the Sonic Adventure series. And wow, looking back on it, this show has not aged well. But little me, oh brothers, yo, my standards were high, and this show delivered for little me. It had everything you need in a Sonic show. Clean voices. I really did believe that Sonic voice was the main Sonic voice of everything Sonic related. Then when I saw that this Sonic voice was not the main voice, I was like, what? How? This guy's terrific. I hope I'm not alone when I say English voice for Sonic in Sonic X, 10 out of 10.
I got some unfinished business.
Knuckles. Oh my god. Knuckles in Sonic X was honestly my favorite character back then. Most people might have gone for Shadow, or maybe Tails, or of course the main boy Sonic. And if you're a Chris fan, we gotta sit down. I'll hold the beer while you hold the Febreze, cause we need to evaluate the situation here. If you're a Chris fan, how do you not find Chris annoying? That's my complaint there. I found him kind of a deterrent from the show. I just didn't like the parts with him. When Sonic left Chris, and it was supposed to be so emotional, so gripping to the heart, cause Sonic has been with him for so long. Man, I was standing clapping like, yo, Sonic, go get your freedom. Then next thing you know, Sonic gets freedom just to lose it again. Cause the Maniac, they made a mess of everything. But they did give us Dark Sonic, which was a trip and a half. For the short time Dark Sonic was in Sonic X, that made me like, wow. Okay, I think I'm getting a little off topic here. Sonic X also introduced to little me Super Sonic, which I knew Dragon Ball at the time, and I really vibed with Super Sonic more than I did with Super Saiyan. I don't know, just something about the red eyes. When you see Super Sonic come out, you know you about to hear the Super Sonic theme. It goes like dun, 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 dun. I know if you grew up in the show and you sat down forced to take a quiz about the big moments of the show, you would easily remember Super Sonic, Super Shadow in space battling. Woo! That was like the first combative battle I ever seen between 2 rivals in their Super Saiyan golden form. When you look at the whole show, you kind of get confused about the ending, cause I fully just don't get it. Like, what? You shot Shadow sacrifice himself? Cosmos is a god? What? This show yet again did not age well, but for a kid's show, it did terrific. Samurai Jack laid down the foundations for truly showing instead of telling. The first episode of Samurai Jack makes that point so clear. You barely hear any voice lines, and yet with these visuals, they have just told you a tragic story for young Jack, and you understand everything that's going on, and it's absolutely beautiful. And something I just found out recently, every single background in all the episodes are different. And Jack as a character, for a man of few words, his actions does the talking. And if you get Jack pissed, and you absolutely better not see him close his eyes, because he will swing like there is no tomorrow. Which also kind of confused me. How was a samurai about to swing his sword but with his eyes closed? And for so many seasons, they had kind of this episodic nature, but then we hit the final dang season of Samurai Jack, and they just took the motorcycle, chugged some nitro fuel, and said that's not enough, we need more. Bring in the rocket fuel, the sun, we need everything for this final season. And they gave us everything we ever wanted. And already the first episode of that final season established everything I ever needed. Jack, the man that you know kills robots, has just taken a life. Holy, the brakes are off. This isn't Samurai Jack. This is now Jack. Gotta get to the past by any means necessary. And I was on board with that. Lucky for me though, my parents already trusted that Samurai Jack was a kid's show. Little did they know that the final season, they saw me watching Samurai Jack and they just casually looked at it and said, oh, look at him watching his cartoon. I remember this show. It was perfect for him. And Aku. The world revolves around one creature. Aku. Some of the goofiest powers I've seen in cartoon history. How you about to open up a portal, send him straight to the future? And Aku's daughters. Wow. Dark is not how I would describe it. Demon-esque is how I would describe it. Dip into motherfucking hot ass lava as kid. Trained to kill the samurai. And of course, having one of your daughters fall in love with the samurai. And then, have all the entire pieces come together, similar like Gurren Lagann, when one thing is fallen, now I've lost it all. Max Steel. There's a very high chance you were not expecting the show. Honestly, neither was I, until I kind of looked back in my past and was like, wow, this show did not age well, but I have fond memory. For this being a 3D animated show and look like this.
School bully, what's his name, Moose, Biff, Flash,
Bartholomew.
Times were different, what can I say? The comedy wasn't good, but Max and Turbo's relationship kind of saved the show for me as a kid. Plus, I am a super duper sucker for transformations. Oh my gosh, there's so many transformations. And you're probably thinking in your head, oh, there's probably like 5, 6, like Dragon Ball has so many transformations. That's probably what it's talking about. No. Let's start with the basics. Strength, base, flight, camouflage, scuba, super, speed, and stealth. Those are the basics, right? If you know the show, then you kind of know those forms. There are more than you ever could think. Cannon, cologne, heat, rockets, spike, nova, annihilation, titan, duo strike mode, exo strike, hammer claw, prime, zombie hunter, mega, armor, and mimic. That makes 25 modes. Probably a lot more Benton aliens than there are Max Steel forms. However, though, 25 is a ridiculous number here. Imagine Goku having 25 transformations. It's over. Completely over. Each form is utilized kind of differently, but when you just look at it, bro, imagine you're Max McGrath walking, and then you see a villain, and you just have to basically pull out a list, go like, which form should I use to whoop your ass today? I could use speed, boom, 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 beat your ass. I could use strength, pump me to the ground. I could use cannon, launch you very far. I could use camouflage, sneak up, kick your ass, or I could just obliterate you with annihilation. And if I was feeling a little bit spicy, I'd probably just go spike mode, be like Spider-Man, swing around the walls, come back down, use my spikes, probably penetrate and kill you accidentally. So having a character that has all the modes and somehow later in the seasons he still loses, it purely reminds me of Pokemon and how Ash's Pikachu lost to Snivy. Pikachu losing to like a level 1 Snivy. Max McGrath, level 1 boss. They do not come together. They do not even, they're not in the same realm of power. But power scaling, of course, really never existed for kid shows. But what I kind of was surprised about, this show gave me one of the best villains I kind of really love. It was mindless fun, not like a villain that's super smart, not a villain that makes his impact well known like Frieza. No, he didn't have the tactics, but he had the power to back up his words. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know the elementals. Let this scene go out. You're Max McGrath. You have just gotten your ass pummeled to the ground. And the elementals are raiding the base of where your mom is, all your friends, and the elementals are just coming in with furious air, fire, water, and earth. Yo, bro, this is the Avatar 2.0, just in beast form. It was a spectacle to see. Little me was terrified of it, but no one could stop. He was unbeatable. He was literally the juggernaut of Max's universe. The only way he could beat him, he had to go in, go up, up, down, down, left, right, be a start, straight into Steel's CPU, GPU, computer motherboard, unlock this brand new mode, go turbo, speed, and somehow kind of win, but at the same time not win. He just made him confused because, when you whip out new power, automatically, you better whoop whoever you're fighting because new power logic, you're supposed to be stronger than your opponent. Then, 5 episodes later, you pull out that same mode, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Death Note was the show when you saw that you were like, wow, like Yagami, I can see him within me. That is my persona. That is who I am. I am the kid who wants to recreate the world in my image. I am Kira. I am the god of the new world. Or you just watch the show and you're like, wow, I love anime. This has really been a great beginner anime because it is a godlike beginner anime. This wasn't my beginner anime because by the time I watched it, I was kind of already familiar with Dragon Ball and a little bit familiar with like Fullmetal Alchemist and Death Note. Where were the breaks when you needed them? Because you never needed them, by the same time you wanted to know there were breaks there. Apparently, when I got in this car that was Death Note, somehow the brakes were all the way into the trunk because I couldn't reach them. I was strapped into the shotgun seat while the driver just took me for a ride. Like Yagami, going from an average class student to a god of the new world. Woo! The way he out-tricked L. L being a character on his own. Every time you see L, what do you think? Yo, man, this must be the smartest man in the universe. No, that's not what the average person thinks. When you think of L, you think of the theme, and you know what I'm talking about. Universally known and praised as a masterpiece of an OST. And to come from this show, you get one of the greatest quotes I personally have ever heard. Never in my life have I been tempted to hit a woman. And it would be kind of a cry for me to talk about Death Note but not talk about the second part where Nier is there, because it was still good, but I think the full consensus is that L was a way better villain than Nier, though Nier did win at the end, so technically speaking he had the W, but also L had the respect of the fans. So if you had to choose between making a villain that is respected to the community, or do you want to make a villain that beats the hero, there are your two choices. I'm literally like the Matrix. I have the red pill, the blue pill. You take the red, you get L. You take the blue, you get Nier. Which one do you want to see in the story? Make your choice today. So Death Note didn't really change me at all too much. It just really opened the floodgates to different types of anime. There is one little caveat about Death Note. It really set the bar really high for me when it came to anime and how the villains were portrayed, how the story was written, and honestly how the conflict ended. Because Death Note was the first kind of show that I saw like where the main character didn't have to get some bullcrap power up to win. He won through his brain, his smarts, and understanding the situation perfect. The only show that really in my mind that later down the years I finally watched that kind of gave me the same feeling as Death Note was Code Geass. At least again in the first half. If you have any other shows that you guys want me to talk about that is from my generation of Generation Z, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. You guys stay safe and peace.